Hi guys, this is my initial review for Final Fantasy XIII-2. Um, Tomorrow night, I plan to be posting up another initial review of Soul Calibur 5. Um, I was able to rent both of them today, so both of these are going to be for the PlayStation 3. I have heard a couple of reviews in the last couple of days where they were talking about the original Final Fantasy XIII port to the Xbox 360, and they said that that version was even worse, which was a real surprise to me. But I will give some of the what I feel are good points of the game and some of the more annoying things in the game. I know many of you, like me, were really disappointed with the original Final Fantasy 13. So, okay, the first thing that I've got to say, which will probably put a lot of people's minds at ease, this game does not completely suck. Um, it's definitely not as bad as, like, say, Final Fantasy X-2. Not quite as bad as Final Fantasy 12. Definitely not as bad as Final Fantasy 13. Um, and if you're, I'd say, pretty big into the MMOs, while I don't think it's quite as good as like Final Fantasy 11, it is much better than Final Fantasy 14 was. Okay, I'll start off with some of the good things that I found. One, there's a lot more interaction with the game than there was in like Final Fantasy 13 or 12 or whatever. Uh, like I said when I was kind of thinking about it a couple of days ago, the people that told me that during your active time battle, which has come into play again in this, so it's not like totally passive like it was in like say Final Fantasy X. But if you do just see it, when you get into a fight, the battle system it really looks like Final Fantasy 13, but there was a lot more interaction, a lot more stuff that you yourself have to do. Um, Again, if you just see it, it doesn't really look like you have to do that much. Like especially at first, when you have to do paradigm shifts, it tends to make a little more sense. You're not left guessing for a lot of these things. So, one of the other really good things that I found with this game is that the paradigm shifts are a lot faster than they were, which is one of my big problems with the first one. It only takes like maybe a second to do, and it doesn't require like a little cutscene or whatever. It actually happens during the battle. So in the first one, shifting to a different paradigm would take like 3 to 5 seconds to pull off. So and when you did, sometimes the characters would do really stupid things like continually cast heal on themselves or cast the wrong type of magic or the difficulty level is much improved with this one. It doesn't quite have the spikes in difficulty that the last one did. The actual bosses in this one, they seem to be a little closer to the surrounding enemies, or like, for example, you don't have like regular enemies that'll do like 30 damage to you or whatever, and the boss will do about 10,000 damage to you and have like 1,000,000 hit points. So, um, a gentle curve it definitely gets harder the farther that you go on, like other RPGs, but it's not like it gets like really hard one spot and then it gets like easy for a while and then goes back up. And I also really like the way that you get into battles in this one. It's not like a random battle system where basically enemies pop out of nowhere. I'd say it's more like I guess you could say like Star Ocean series where you actually see your enemies out on the regular overworld and you kind of have to run into them to get into the fight. However, there is kind of a timing system where if you kind of sneak up on your enemy and get into a fight right away, it greatly increases your chance of getting into preemptive. But if they've seen you for a while and the timer turns to like red or whatever, then you have to get into like a regular battle or whatever. Plus, to get into the battle, when you're touching them, you have to press X, and I really like that because that means that you can just run by enemies. They can actually touch you, and you won't necessarily get into a fight or whatever. I think that's a really good idea with this one. So, one more good thing about the storyline is that they didn't just rehash Final Fantasy 13 or whatever. They actually decided to put in like little elements from other RPGs and other Squaresoft games into this one. So, like with the time thing, there is a little bit of an element with say Chrono Trigger, and with a lot of the artifacts that have bosses and stuff associated with them, it kind of reminds me a little bit about having to fight the Grigori in Star Ocean: The Last Hope. But with any game, there's good points and there are bad points. So I'll be going through my two biggest problems with this game. So first is saving. I know a lot of people had a problem with the first 13 where you seem to save all the frickin' time. And, you know, you would take like 2 steps or whatever and it would ask you if you wanted to save, and there'd be save points like really close to each other, and it's just like, you know, hey, you gotta leave me alone and stuff. But one problem with this one is that it auto-saves, and I am not even gonna bother taking an LP with it, because if, say, something kind of screws up in my recording, well, I just can't go back, so not a problem like at the beginning of the game or anything. I could just record it again, but say if you're like 10 or 15 hours into it, then, you know, you can't really go back. So the main problem for like me when I'm playing, you know, when I'm not recording or anything, and yeah, sometime I plan to be doing a little Let's demo of it. So because there are no real save points or whatever, you don't know when the last time it really saved was. You have to either be looking at your system to see when the little red light or whatever is flashing to say it's saving to the hard drive, or every once in a while, you'll see the little logo show up on the screen. Basically, it comes up like between chapters and stuff, and you can usually tell that it's saving then, but it kind of sucks if you've gone what you think is far enough for your next autosave area, and apparently you just missed or whatever. You have to go pretty far back and continue on from there. So, well, the last save point. So, the last thing that I will say, at least for annoyance, that I'll probably quit this video is that I really don't like the interactive cinematics that they have. Because they don't give you enough time to actually press the buttons or whatever that you need. And really, they just kind of appear out of nowhere. And it's not like, say, Star Wars The Force Unleashed, where there's a couple of buttons that you gotta push for cinematics, like at the end of a cutscene or whatever. Like, you have to press X and then O and square, and it usually would give you like a little bit of a leeway with pressing those buttons, but in this one, really you have to press them like right away as soon as you see it on the screen. And really, you can either take time out to actually look for stuff when things keep popping up, or actually watch the cinematic. So, and what's the point of having a cinematic if you can't really watch it? So, it'd be fine for if somebody else was like watching you play or whatever, but if you're just sitting around alone, it's like just let me sit here and enjoy the game. Last little thing that I have to say, and this kind of left me scratching my head as to exactly why they did it this way. What exactly it means and stuff, but they have 3 music directors for the game. I don't know if they're all like actual like symphonic conductors, or if like one is conductor and the other 2 are like for actual battle sounds or whatever. I don't know why they would include that in music or whatever. I just thought it was kind of weird that they did it that way. So, but anyways, as I said, tomorrow I'll be doing a review of Soul Calibur 5, and later on, probably this week, I will be doing a Let's demo of Final Fantasy 13-2, and I will probably be doing one of Soul Calibur 5 also. So, until then, I will see you later, so take care.